I found a secret room behind my closet, and I really wish I hadn't. So I, 29F, moved into this older apartment about 2 months ago. It's nothing special, kind of creaky floors, a bit drafty, but cheap rent and close to work. So whatever. About a week after I moved in, I noticed something odd in the back of my bedroom closet. The floorboards at the back looked off, like a slightly different color than the rest. One night I got curious, aka bored and avoiding laundry, and started tapping on the boards. One of them sounded hollow. I pried it up and discovered a little trap door underneath. At first I thought, oh cool, maybe a storage crawl space? But what I found was way creepier. The trap door led to a narrow staircase going down, underground. There were no lights, just cobwebs and a smell like old damp books. I should have stopped there, but curiosity got the better of me. I grabbed my phone flashlight and went down. The staircase led to a tiny, fully built room. I'm talking a real room. Wallpapered walls, a dusty twin bed, an old wooden desk, and a rocking chair in the corner. The wallpaper was this faded yellow with little ducklings. Very retro, very unsettling. The weirdest part? There were drawings taped all over the walls, hundreds of them. Crayon pictures. Some were childish, smiley faces, animals. But others were disturbing. People with no eyes. A man with a huge mouth. A black figure looming behind a stick family. One drawing had the words, "He watches me sleep," scrawled across the top. I freaked out and bolted back upstairs, slamming the trap door shut. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning I asked my landlord about it. He looked surprised and said, "There's no basement in your unit. Are you sure it wasn't just a vent space or something?" I took him inside and showed him the floorboard. When we opened it, the staircase was gone. Gone. Just solid dirt. I know what I saw. I have photos on my phone of the drawings, the room, even the rocking chair. But somehow the staircase sealed itself back up. Or worse, it was never supposed to be opened. Now at night, I keep hearing faint creaking sounds under my bed. And sometimes, the closet door opens on its own. I don't know who lived here before me, but I think I found where they kept the kid. And I don't think I was supposed to find that room. Should I move out? Or am I already too late? After the whole secret room vanishing incident, I tried to convince myself I was just tired. Maybe stressed. Maybe I imagined it. But I had photos, clear ones. I posted a few on a throwaway Reddit account, and someone DM'd me immediately. They said, "That wallpaper? Ducklings, yellow, torn at the bottom corner. Are you in city name redacted?" I froze. That was exactly where I lived. They told me their cousin used to live in this exact building, in my apartment. Said she was a single mom who started acting weird, paranoid. She claimed someone was watching her son through the walls. No one believed her. One day she just vanished, left everything behind. Her kid was never found. I didn't sleep for 2 nights after that. Then things started escalating. My phone started glitching whenever I tried to show people the photos I took of the secret room. They'd go black. Sometimes the images turned into static. Or worse, they'd show the same room but with something new in it, like a shadow. In the corner. Then I started waking up with things moved around in my apartment. My toothbrush in the freezer. The TV turned on to static at 3:17 a.m. every night for a week straight. Once I found tiny muddy footprints leading out of the closet. I told my best friend, who thought I was losing it. She came over to stay the night. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to her screaming. She swore she saw a small figure standing at the foot of my bed, just staring. Said it looked like a kid, but wrong. No face, just smooth skin where the features should be. We left that night and slept in her car. I haven't gone back inside since. But this morning, my landlord called, said there was a complaint from the unit below mine. They heard dragging furniture and crying coming from my apartment last night. No one was there. I moved out. I'm not ashamed of that. But here's the kicker. I went back once in daylight with a couple of friends for closure. We opened the closet. The floorboard was gone. Not pried up, gone. In its place, a note. It looked like it was written by a child. Crayon. Shaky letters. It said, "Why did you leave me? So yeah, I thought moving out would be the end of it. It wasn't. Ever since I found that note, why did you leave me? Things have been following me. I'm staying with my sister now, and the first couple of nights were fine. But then, weird stuff started happening here. The first night it started, my niece, she's 4, came into the living room around 3 a.m., eyes wide, clutching her stuffed rabbit. She said, "A boy came out of the closet. He said he was sad because you forgot him." I hadn't told anyone what the note said. Then my sister started finding crayon drawings taped to the walls, just like the ones I found in that hidden room. One had a little girl stick figure next to a taller woman and a shadowy figure looming behind them. Another just said, "I'm here now." I tried to burn the drawings. They wouldn't catch fire. The paper blackened but never curled or crumbled. That night, I had the worst nightmare of my life. I was back in the room beneath my old apartment. The rocking chair was moving by itself. I saw the child, blurry, fast, never quite in focus. He ran up to me, touched my hand, and whispered, "It's your turn to stay here now." I woke up with bruises on my arm where he touched me, small, round fingerprints, like a child's. I finally broke down and talked to a paranormal investigator. He came with EMF readers, temperature tools, EVP stuff. He didn't even make it through the night. Around 2:30 a.m., he bolted out of the house saying he heard whispers from inside the walls. Whispers saying my name and the words, "She broke the promise." I didn't make any promises. I didn't agree to anything. But apparently just opening that trapdoor was enough. According to him, this thing isn't a ghost. It's something older. Something trapped in that room, feeding off attention, off fear. And now it's attached to me. He told me I have two options. One, go back and seal the room the right way, using something called a binding ritual. Two, or keep running, knowing it'll always find me. And the longer I wait, the stronger it gets. So yeah, I guess I'm going back. If I post a part 4, you'll know I made it out. If not, please don't open any trapdoors in old apartments, especially not the ones that aren't supposed to be there.
So I went back. Not alone, obviously. I brought the paranormal guy, his name's Mason, 2 friends, and everything he said we'd need: salt, candles, iron nails, a mirror, a journal, and something personal from me. He said it would be a binding ritual, but it had to happen at 3:17 a.m. time. Everything always starts. We snuck into the old building. My old apartment had already been rented out again, but the new tenants were gone for the weekend. Thankfully, we waited until dark. Everything was eerily quiet. No creaks, no static, just this weird pressure in the air. Like the whole apartment was holding its breath. We went into the bedroom and pulled back the closet floor. There was nothing. No trapdoor. No hollow sound. Just the same wooden planks. I almost broke down right there. And Mason said, "Try talking to it." So I knelt in front of the floorboards and whispered I came back. "I didn't forget you." Silence. Then crack. One of the boards split down the center. Slowly. Like it was being pulled open from below. The trapdoor was back. We descended the stairs into the hidden room. It was exactly how I left it. Except now every crayon drawing on the wall showed me sleeping, me in the mirror, me standing in that very room. The rocking chair was moving again. That's when Mason lit the candles and poured the salt in a circle. He handed me the mirror and told me to place it in the chair. "It needs to see itself," he said. Then he gave me the journal. I had to write the words, "You are not forgotten. You are seen. You are free." But the second I wrote the last word, the room exploded in noise. Screaming, crying, dozens of voices. The mirror cracked. The chair tipped over. One of my friends passed out cold. Then everything went dead silent. No more cold. No more pressure, just quiet. We left. We sealed the floorboards with iron nails. I sprinkled salt on every stair, every crevice. Mason said it was over. But here's the thing. This morning I got a package. No return address, just a plain white box inside it. A single crayon drawing. It's me, standing in front of a trap door. And underneath it, in red crayon, "You didn't free me." You just opened the door wider. After the package showed up the crayon drawing, I stopped sleeping. I kept my lights on. I stopped being alone. I even wore a cross to bed and kept a mirror facing the closet door at all times. But none of it helped. Because 3 nights ago, it started happening again. Not in my sister's house. Not even in the old apartment. Everywhere. People I've never met have started messaging me on Reddit, saying they read my story and started hearing things. One girl said her baby monitor caught a whisper that said my name. A guy in another state woke up to find a crayon drawing under his pillow with a sketch of the trapdoor. It's spreading. I asked Mason what the hell we actually did during the ritual. He went quiet. Then he said, "It wasn't a single spirit. It was a doorway. You didn't bind it. You acknowledged it. And you gave it names. And now it knows how to find more." I realized then, those drawings weren't from just one child. They were all from different ones. Trapped. Forgotten. Or worse claimed, we didn't close the door. We advertised it. Last night I had the worst experience yet. I was asleep on the couch, surrounded by salt, candles, everything Mason told me to use. At 3:17 a.m. I woke up, but I couldn't move. I was frozen. And in the corner of the room I saw them. Not one, not two, 7 small figures, children, featureless faces, holding hands, just standing there, watching me. The tallest one stepped forward. It had a mouth now, and it whispered, "Tag. You're it." Then they all vanished. Just like that. When I could move again, I looked down at my arm. There was a small red handprint burned into my skin, like a brand. I don't know how many more parts I can write, because I think they're coming for more people now. If you've read this far, and especially if you've been following since part 1, please, don't draw them, don't name them, and whatever you do, don't answer if they knock. After everything that happened after the figures, the handprint, the whispers, I stopped running. I started digging. I needed to know where this all began. Who built that room? Who was the first child? Because maybe, just maybe, understanding it could stop this. I pulled property records, library archives, even old newspaper microfilm. And I found something. The building I lived in. It used to be a private home, built in 1913 by a man named Edwin Harrow. He was a schoolteacher, widowed, known in the neighborhood as quiet, reclusive, and obsessed with protecting innocence. But here's the twist: between 1915 and 1921, 7 children in the area went missing. No suspects, no leads, all under age 10. And then Edwin vanished too. Left behind a sealed basement, boarded up windows, and this one entry in a hidden page of his journal. They are safe now, away from the rot, where no eyes can poison them. I gave them forever. That basement is the exact footprint of the trapdoor room, and the duckling wallpaper. That was from the bedroom of Edwin's own son, Thomas Harrow, the first missing child. I went deeper. I tracked down one of Edwin's distant relatives, some 90-year-old woman in a care home. When I asked about him, her eyes turned cold. She said he didn't keep them safe. He trapped them. And they've never stopped screaming. You didn't find them. They found you. And then she handed me a piece of old cloth, tattered yellow, covered in faint red handprints. She said she's been waiting for someone to come asking. Said the door only opens when someone truly sees them. And then she told me something I can't stop hearing in my head. The first child was lonely. The rest came because he called them. He's still calling. And now you hear him too. This morning I woke up with something under my pillow. A new drawing. This time it's a house. My childhood house. And standing in the window is me, as a little kid, with a figure behind me. Thomas. He's smiling. If I make it through tonight, I'll post part 7. If you've seen drawings, if you've dreamed about the trapdoor, don't ignore it. You might be hearing the call too.
I shouldn't have looked at the drawing under my pillow. I shouldn't have remembered that house. But now I can't forget. The house in the picture was the one I lived in when I was 6. We moved after something happened to me there. Something I didn't remember clearly until now. My parents always brushed it off, said I had night terrors. But after seeing that drawing, I called my mom, and I asked her, what really happened in that house? There was silence on the phone. Then she said, "You used to draw pictures of a boy named Thomas. You said he lived in your closet and cried because he missed his dad. You said he played games with you, but got angry when you wanted to stop. We moved because we found you in the basement one night, talking to the shadows. You said they wanted to keep you, that you promised you'd come back someday. I was 6, and I had already made a promise to them. I drove back to the house. I had to. I don't know what I thought I'd find, maybe closure, maybe a lie that made all of this go away. But when I got there, the house was abandoned. Boarded windows, graffiti, overgrown yard, a for sale sign long forgotten. And inside it was like no one had touched it in years. But my old bedroom still had the same closet, still had that same faint stain on the floor where my toy chest used to be. I opened the closet, and it was there, the trap door, But this time it wasn't sealed. It was open. I didn't go down. I couldn't. Because from the darkness, I heard it. You came back, like you promised. Then I saw something move. Small hands, pale, gripping the edge of the trapdoor, trying to pull themselves out, and behind them many more. I slammed the closet and ran. But as I turned to leave, something was waiting on the floor just behind me. A drawing of me, standing in that very room. And underneath, written in crayon, "You're the one who started this." I don't know what I did when I was 6. I don't know why they chose me. But I think I was the first person to see them after Thomas died. And that means I was the one who opened the door the very first time. They've stopped hiding now. Ever since I opened that closet again, the original one, in the house from my childhood, things haven't just been strange. They've been wrong. Time skips. I lose hours. People say I've called them when I haven't. A neighbor swears they saw me walking down the street at 3:17 a.m., barefoot, whispering to someone no one else could see. But I was asleep. At least, I thought I was. And now the dreams have turned into memories. I remember Thomas. I remember being 6 years old, talking to him through the closet door, promising I'd come back and play. He told me he was scared, said the others were angrier than him, that they were cold, that once they had your name, you belonged to them. I had told him my name. That was the first mistake. Mason came back one last time, said the ritual we did weeks ago wasn't just incomplete, it was the wrong kind. He found something in a journal from an old medium who investigated the Harrow House in 1942. She wrote, "There is no banishment for what is not dead. These are not ghosts, but echoes. Echoes of pain, of promises made by children who didn't understand what they were binding themselves to. To seal the door, I don't need salt or fire. I need to break the promise, retract the invitation. So that's what I'm doing, tonight. I'm going back to the original house, back to the room. I'm bringing the drawing, the first one Thomas ever gave me. I found it in a sealed box my mom had kept. It shows a stick figure version of me, holding hands with a smaller boy, both standing in front of an open door. At the top it says, "Forever Friends." I'm going to burn it. I'm going to say his name, and then I'm going to take it back. It's 3:07 a.m. now. 10 minutes until the door fully opens. If there's a part 9, it means I'm still here. If not, don't go looking for me, and don't make promises to voices in the dark. It's done. At least, I think it's done. I went back to the house, alone. Mason begged me not to, but I told him, this started with me. It ends with me. I brought the crayon drawing, a lighter, a mirror, and my voice. Because that's what Thomas always wanted, to be seen, to be heard. It was 3:12 a.m. when I stepped into the closet. The trapdoor was already open. Cold air poured out of it, and beneath it, the whispers were louder than ever, like 100 children calling through water. Come play. You promised. Stay. I climbed down. And they were all there. Small figures in the dark. Eyeless, some faceless, some not even shaped right anymore. But I recognized Thomas, standing at the front, holding the old drawing. He said, "You said we'd be friends forever. You said you'd come back." My voice was shaking, but I told him the truth. I was a kid. I didn't understand. I didn't know what you were. He frowned. The drawing crumbled in his hand, without him even touching it. The air grew heavy. The others started to circle. The walls pulsed. The floor trembled. And then, he said, "Then say it." So I did. I held up the mirror, looked into his empty face, and I said, "Thomas Harrow, I take it back. I break the promise. I set you free. You're not forgotten, but you can go now." The mirror shattered in my hand. Blood dripped down my wrist. The children screamed not in pain, but in release, like something deep inside them was being torn loose. Thomas looked at me one last time and he said, "Thank you. But it's not just me you made a promise to." The floor beneath me collapsed. I woke up in the grass outside the house. It was morning. The sun was up. No trapdoor, no closet. The entire back half of the house, gone, like it had never been built. I thought it was over. But this morning I found one last thing taped to my window, a new drawing. This time it's a door, a different door, and a note in a different handwriting, shaky, red crayon. You closed one, but there are others. This was never just about a haunted room. It's a network, a system of promises. And somewhere out there, kids are still whispering names through walls. And people, kids just like me, are still answering. It's not over. The message on my window said, "You closed one, but there are others." I thought maybe it was a bluff, a final scare, but it wasn't. Because I'm not the only one who got a drawing that night. 2 days ago, I got a DM on Reddit from someone in Poland, a girl named Amelia. She said she'd read my posts, thought it was just a story until her little brother started drawing pictures of doors he'd never seen before. One drawing showed a child standing at the edge of a trapdoor with the same exact duckling wallpaper in the background. Same, exact wallpaper. Then a man from Brazil messaged me. Same drawings. He found a staircase behind his kitchen wall. One by one, they're surfacing. I've connected with 13 people so far, all strangers, all in different countries, all hearing whispers at 3:17 a.m. They're calling it the Promise Network. Mason and I think it's not just a haunting anymore, it's a web. Every time someone listens, every time a name is given, a new door opens. We ran facial recognition on one of the kids from the drawings. She matched a missing person from 1984. Texas, never found, no leads. We think each node is tied to a child that disappeared. Maybe they were lured, maybe they were taken. Maybe they made a promise just like I did. Whatever this thing is, it uses forgotten kids as anchors. And now it's global. The real question is, what happens if too many doors open at once? I think that's what they want, not just escape, expansion. So now we're trying to track the network, map it, understand it, shut it down one door at a time. But last night, Mason called me in a panic, said he found something scratched into the drywall above his bed. It said, "You were never supposed to help her. Now you're marked too." This morning he's missing. All that's left is a drawing, a stick figure of him, standing at a door with me behind it, smiling. This isn't a story anymore. It's a system. It's spreading. After Mason disappeared, I promised myself no more running, no more waiting for the next drawing. It's time to fight back. I reached out to everyone in the Promise Network, the 13 others across the world who had been contacted, followed, or haunted by drawings, trapdoors, and whispers. Only 8 replied. 2 are missing. One sent a message at 3:17 a.m. that just said, "Too late, it's inside the walls now." We've created a shared map, pinned all the sightings, drawings, and door locations. There's a pattern, a spiral. The nodes aren't random. They're opening in sequence, starting from the house where I first made my promise. It's spreading outward like a pulse. And now I know what that means. When all the doors are open, something bigger is coming through. Something that doesn't need drawings anymore, or names, just space. But here's where it gets worse. I found a mark on my back. At first I thought it was a bruise, until one of the others, a guy named Dario from Italy, said he had the same one. Same size, same shape, almost like a door frame, pressed into the skin. It's not just a symbol, it's a seal. And Mason was right. Once you're marked, you're not just being haunted. You're becoming part of it. We found someone who says they escaped the network years ago. A woman in her 60s. She wouldn't speak directly, just left voicemails. One of them said, "You can't destroy it, you can only replace it. Close one door, another has to open. If you want to survive, someone else has to take your place." And then, in the last message, her voice drops to a whisper. "You already know who it's going to be." I finally get what this is. It's not a curse. It's not a haunting. It's a game of survival built on broken promises and stolen childhoods. You don't end it, you pass it on. I remembered something Thomas said in part 5, right before he vanished. It's your turn now. And that's what the network is built on. Turns. Each person who breaks a promise opens a door. Each door takes someone, and that someone becomes part of the system unless someone else is offered in exchange. I think that's what happened to Mason. I didn't offer him, but I broke the promise first, and the network needed balance. Last night, I got a knock at 3:17 a.m. 3 knocks, then silence. When I opened the door, there was no one there. Just a mirror leaning against the hallway wall, written on it in crayon, "Time to choose." There were 2 drawings taped to the mirror. One was of me, alone, surrounded by doors. The second was of a stranger, a child I don't know. But I know what they want me to do. If I burn the second drawing, I stay. I carry the mark, the voices, the doors, forever. If I burn the first, the child replaces me. They become the next key. They carry the curse, and I walk away. The lighter's in my hand, and I'm shaking. Because the network doesn't care if it's fair. It only cares that the game continues. And now, it's my turn to play God. I stared at the 2 drawings on the mirror for hours. One of me, older, tired, surrounded by trapdoors, shadows, and windows that look like eyes. One of a child, maybe 7 years old, smiling, holding a balloon, completely unaware of what the network wants from them. The lighter felt heavier than it should. The air was still, no whispers, no shadows. The network was waiting. I thought, this isn't just about survival anymore. It's about what kind of person I'll be if I survive. Because here's the truth no one tells you about these things. It's not always evil that spreads horror. Sometimes it's just desperation, selfishness, a choice made in silence when no one else is watching. And that's how the Promise Network grows. I held the flame under the second drawing, the one of the kid. My hands shook, and just as the corner of the paper began to curl, I heard it. Please. Not a scream, not a ghostly whisper, a child's voice, small, afraid, real. I dropped the lighter because I couldn't do it. I couldn't pass this on to someone who had no idea what they were inheriting. So I burned the first drawing instead, the one of me. The flames hissed like wind through dead leaves. The mirror cracked. The hallway around me darkened, but not from the lights going out, from shadows stepping closer. I thought that was it, that I was done, that I'd chosen the path of sacrifice. But then, they stopped. And one by one, the shadows stepped back. Thomas appeared last. He stood at the edge of the light. He didn't smile, but he nodded. And behind him, the trapdoors closed. All of them. I woke up on the floor hours later. The mirror was gone. The drawings were ash. The mark on my back vanished. I've slept through the night every night since. No whispers, no knocks, no drawings. But 2 nights ago, someone from the network messaged me. They said, "I think it really did stop. My door's gone too." Then they added, "But we're keeping the map, just in case it ever wakes up again." And me? I'm free but not unchanged. Because I know now, there are always going to be voices in the dark. Doors in places they don't belong. People willing to trade others to save themselves. And someone has to stand in that hallway and say, "No, the Promise Network is sleeping. But if it ever wakes again, I'll be ready."